This is part 2 of our Road Trip 2016 video. If you missed part 1, there'll be links in the description and something on the screen. The next day we were still in Abbotsford. We went go-karting, which was a lot of fun. My dad managed to win every race. Then we went to Fort Langley and had a good time hanging out there, followed by a grilled cheese place, and then up and down the shopping area in Fort Langley. After this, we were driving to Coquitlam from Abbotsford, and we were on this massive bridge. I was driving. Then in Coquitlam, we looked out at the lake. Well, no, sorry, this is the ocean. It's just come in. And it was really cool. Then we got ice cream, which was delicious, and threw some frisbees. On the next day, we drove to Victoria. So this is where we had to take the longer ferry. And it was a crazy amount of people and coordination, and I don't know how they do it. It's like, oh man. So they get everyone to line up, all the cars come off, we go on. It was in this stretch of the journey that I discovered the Ready Player One book, which was so good. So there was lots of reading that happened from here on out. So this is going over onto Vancouver Island. It's a crazy ship. It's less, I'd say it looks more like a ship, less like a ferry. Then once we arrived in Victoria, we saw the Parliament grounds, and then we got stuck in traffic. Like, there's our destination. You can see the red dot because of the Pride Parade that was going on, but eventually we made it through. And then so we walked like 12 minutes, and we were at the ocean front.
What are you doing?
Day,
catching it.
My brother.
What are you doing this on?
Go.
Pokemon Go.
Look at you. There was lots of Pokemoning.
No, the
Not
tentacle.
this enthusiastic all the time.
Oh, did I catch it? Nicholas, look. One.
How intense do you feel right now?
Very intense. I got it. I got a tentacle, Nicholas.
Look at you go.
Tentacle was caught.
The actual tallest mountain is the one with the white snow that doesn't look like it.
We learned about some of the geography, looked at all the driftwood that had shown up, and just the ocean and its craziness. I was trying to figure out how to best capture it, but there's no good way to truly capture the amount of ocean and still have perspective. We walked down closer, and it was windy and kind of cold, but it was still beautiful. The next day we walked out on the pier, which we hadn't done yet, all the way out, and all the way to the end. There was a lighthouse. Apparently the handrails were only installed like a couple of years ago. Before that was apparently very frightening. You got a really good view from the end of this pier. And then we went down to after that we went down to the downtown area and did some shopping. And this was the skinniest alleyway. Then we went to this Italian restaurant and ended off the day with ice cream. Oh yeah. The next day we went out to check out the houseboats, Fisherman's Wharf. There was seals. And we also got some seafood from Barb's Fish and Chips. Their fish and chips were very tasty. The next day, then we went out to this park and saw what there was to see and had a really nice picnic. And there was peacocks and there were summer camps that were going on. It was really neat. The next day we went to Hatley Castle and explored the gardens. So you can see that. And then we spent, I don't know, a good half an hour in the gardens before our tour started. Some time lapses. These were massive gardens, and it was in, I think they said, a European style, where the gardens closer to the house were more pristine, were more kept in line, whereas the farther out you went, the more natural it got. So the paths were more curved instead of being straight and square. And they were quite massive, and there was some bees. And these crazy flowers. Then we went inside the actual house, which had been converted by the university after sold by the family. It was actually made as a retirement home and was like cutting edge for its time. After the tour, we went out and explored the remainder of the grounds, which we hadn't got to yet. Complete with the lake. Are my glasses? In the background, you can see the building that the military put up, which they got after Hatley. And then we were off on the ferry again to Sorrento. So this was our trip home, where it was like, just get home. We had 2 days to do it. So this was the first half. So lots of ferry. And then lots of driving. And more driving. And Harry Potter.
Then pulled out his wallet.
In Sorrento, we visited some people on my dad's, some family on my dad's side, just for the night. We'd seen them before, but this was just a passing over point. And then we were driving to Edmonton. Just lots of driving and Harry Potter. It was really nice weather, and then bam, back in Edmonton.
Neither can live. And vomiting into her cereal behind Fleur. Harry choked over his...
This is the end of part 2 of our road trip 2016. If you missed part 1, there'll be a link in the description and something on the screen. Hope you enjoyed seeing what we were up to with our trip across Alberta and BC.